that it's impossible to make this journey without faith. If you do not have faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and have a testimony that you are in His hands, this could be very difficult. The last time I asked that question, why are we going through this? I heard a voice and he said, "You're asking me the wrong question." I am a devout Christian, and I'd like to share with you what I have termed a tender mercy. I'm 75 years old, and in 2015 I was diagnosed with a stage 4 prostate cancer and given 2 to 3 years to live. And so I started therapy with a urologist, and for about 5 years things seemed to be going well. I had a good quality of life. I wasn't having too many complications. And then the cancer settled in my bones, and I began to experience a lot of pain. And the urologist I was seeing recommended that I go see an oncologist. As a part of my treatment, I received radiation, and as well as other what we would classify as chemotherapy drugs. But during that time, my wife and I were called to serve a mission. By now, COVID has reared its ugly head, and I'm wearing a mask, and we're walking in a pedestrian door of our church, and I didn't see that the sidewalk dropped off about like that. And my foot hit it just right. It rolled, and the next thing I know, I make a almost 3-point landing on the sidewalk, and hard. And next thing you know, I'm bleeding profusely from my left knee. That night, I hardly slept a wink. I was in so much pain. And so the next day I called my general practitioner and asked for a painkiller. Took it that night and it did not work. So I called him back again and I said, "That didn't work. Do you have something stronger?" And he said, "Before I will give you another prescription for a painkiller, you need to go get an MRI." Went and got the MRI. He got the results back, and he's called me, and in a rather strange voice, he says, "Dick, you've got cancer in your right knee." As a result, he says, "I'm not going to do anything until you go see your oncologist." And so we returned to him, and he says, "Dick, I have another part of my practice I have not told you about. I have a partner, and he and I are involved in testing through clinical trials treatments for cancer, and we're testing one right now that's specific to your cancer. Would you be interested in enrolling into the clinical trial?" And I said, "Absolutely, I would be." And he says, "Good, because you'll be one of 40 men in the world in this trial." You're kidding me. One of 40 men in the world? So I engaged in a trial. Things went exceptionally well. Now, the reason I wanted to share that story is because if I had not fallen at church, if I hadn't been told by my GP to go see my oncologist, I probably wouldn't be doing as well as I'm doing right now. I learned from this that many times, out of the anguish of our soul, we cry unto the Lord for help. And then sometimes when it comes, we don't recognize it for what it is. And in this case, it took an injury to be able to receive the kind of care for the cancer that I have. Even though we may question the Lord and whether or not He's involved in our lives, He's involved in every moment. He knows who we are. He loves us. He cares for us. But sometimes we just have to learn to be able to hear His voice in the way He wants us to hear it.